Hi, this is my lesson plan for my Exceptional Learners class. So today, my lesson plan is over Anne Frank. My essential question is, who was Anne Frank? And this is catered to a 4th or 5th grade classroom. My classroom has 10 students, 6 girls and 4 boys. I have 2 gifted students, 6 lower level readers, 5 IEP students, 7 ADD and ADHD students. All my students come from upper middle class, so that means they have available to technology such as computers, Promethean boards, iPads, and they're a very mature group of individuals. I have 5 visual learners, 3 kinesthetic learners, and 2 auditory learners. So a lot of my focus is going to be on the visual learners and the kinesthetic learners. My lesson focus for this is learning about Anne Frank and her life, her escape from persecution, and her life in captivity throughout the course of World War II. The students' prior knowledge to this lesson is they have had a unit lesson about the causes and effects of World War II, kind of like an introduction into the Nazi Party and Hitler's reign of power up until this point, and as well as like a start on the concentration camps and Jewish persecution during this time period. Following this lesson, the students will be learning about the reconstruction of the United States and other countries following the war, how the different countries came back together after the war had concluded. My standards and objectives for this lesson are create and use a chronological sequence of related events to compare developments that happened at the same time. And my second standard is use precise language and domain-specific vocabulary to inform about or explain the topic. So for my first learning objective, I have, after reading Anne Frank, the Anne Frank House Authorized Graphic Biography, which is the book that we will be reading in class, the students will be able to create a chronological timeline of Anne Frank's life with 80% accuracy. My second objective is, following the activity, the students will be able to accurately write out facts about Anne Frank's diary using their vocabulary with 80% accuracy. My academic language targets for this specific lesson are Holocaust, which is destruction on a mass scale, especially caused by war; Nazis, the body of political and economic doctrines held and put into effect by the Nazis; Jewish, which is a religion developed among the Hebrews who celebrate their God through tradition, rituals, prayers, and ethical actions; Aryan race, a supposed master race of non-Jewish Caucasians used by the Nazis; punish is the penalty for a wrong or crime. My hand-on activity for this would be, after reading the story, the students will be creating a poster timeline of Anne Frank's life using the timeline worksheet as a guideline for dates and information. So we would be reading a book in class called The Anne Frank House Authorized Graphic Biography. This is the book by Sid Jacobson and Ernie Colon. It's a graphic biography. It's kind of like a comic strip or a comic book. It's more appropriate for 4th or 5th grade level. It doesn't drag on like Anne Frank's diary would. I know in some parts of Anne Frank's diary I even kind of snoozed a little, so this is like a more way to incorporate it. So they're learning about the diary, but also about her life in a graphic novel type of way, so it's more kid friendly. And this is the English version of the book. And for my exceptional learner student, she would be getting the Spanish version of the book. So this would be the Spanish version for her to read for the class. And then after we would read the book, we'd be doing this, which is a timeline of Anne Frank's life. It's kind of like an overview. It's got basic things like when she was born, when she dies, when the prisoners are moved to Auschwitz, that kind of thing. And again, it's a very mature group of kids, so a lot of these things are the kids are at a mature enough level they would be able to handle this kind of information. And what they would be doing with that timeline is they would be using it as a guideline. This would just be like a guideline of things they could use. They have to take facts from the book we would be reading and pull it all together. And ultimately, their final project for this lesson would be they would have to make a whole poster. They would be given a poster board in like groups of maybe 3, and they would be doing a poster board of Anne Frank's life timeline. So it would be about what she did, what she accomplished, just in like the short time that she was alive. And then after they would be done with that, they could present it to the class as like a group. And then once we did that, we would move on to the writing activity worksheet, which has vocab words with the blanks. It has a little bit about her life. Anne Frank is about a blank, so that would be about a girl. And it goes over like her name, her family's name, dates and times, her birthday, that kind of thing, just some basic things, and all of this stuff can be found in the book that we would be reading. So the timeline and the book. So all of these answers would be in either the book or the timeline, so the students would know generally what they are, but they could use their resources again if they wanted to find these answers. And then for my exceptional learner student, she'd be given the writing answer key instead of the actual writing activity worksheet. It has all the answers on here, but what she would be doing is she'd be going through and she would be circling the important words like throughout the text that we've learned, like the vocab words, the important dates, the times, the importance of her 13th birthday, that sort of thing. She'd be going through and circling those. And then if time allowed, if there was some time left over, if she got done before everybody else, or even before or after school to assess her fluency, she'll be asked to write the vocab words from the story with their definitions. And then additional help would be given to her before and after school when needed, either by the teacher in the room or the aide. So that would be available to her at any time. And then she would also be able to run through this really quickly and read it to test her fluency with the aide in the room. The aide would listen and time her, listen and time her reading the answer key out loud, and she would write down how many words she got, and that would be a test of her fluency for the day. And then to wrap everything up, once the students start to discuss among each other what they've learned about her life, the teacher would sum up with asking some questions for the students to answer, such as, did any of you learn anything new today? What did you learn while in groups? What influence did Anne Frank have on the Jewish people? What are some vocab words that were common today that we use? Where is Anne Frank's house located? Because that would be in one of our resources, either in our book or a vocab or any type of video. Is her diary still used today? And their answer would obviously be yes, because we will simultaneously use some quotes from the diary. We just won't necessarily read it. And then, is Anne Frank considered to be a World War II hero? And that would be a really big question, especially for the girls in the group. And I thought that would be good for the girls because there are a lot of girls in the class, and I feel like that'd be a good thing to have a woman hero during World War II. While the students are answering the questions, I'll be keeping a checklist of students learning to assess their knowledge of the lesson that they've learned. And then I'll kind of wrap up the lesson by having the students write in words as part of a summary and vocabulary wrap up for the lesson. And then the students will end by turning their writing in, and I will start talking to them about what the focus for tomorrow's lesson will be about, which is the world reconstruction after the war as a whole. And that is my lesson plan. Thank you.